Jai Hind class. Class today I'm going to start with the new series of mathematics, that is basics of mathematics. So class, in this section I have included the basic part from this lower standard up to the higher standard and the basic calculation also, so that students are able to understand how to calculate the basic questions and basic equations in terms of the cube, in terms of the multiplication and in terms of the division. So students, this one is a very interesting topic, that is compound interest. So compound interest, students, basically it is the part of the arithmetic mathematics which is asked in a competitive exam also, like a bank PO, bank clerk and all other exams conducted by the Civil Service Commission. So here this topic I have included, but before starting this topic, let us consider the components of this compound interest. So basically, what are the components of the compound interest? We need to have a first introduction about the principal amount. So what is the principal amount, students? Let me take the examples this amount or a principal amount. The example of this session, let us consider, suppose a bank is there and we are the just borrower. That means we want loan from the bank. So basically students, what we will do, we will go to the bank and we'll take the loan, and bank will provide loan up to the amount whatever you want, like 1,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, crore, 10 crore. It's depend on the purpose of your work. But here the amount initially you are going to take from the bank, that is known as the principal amount. The amount initially you are going to take from the bank, that is known as the principal amount. And one more thing is that, suppose you are going to deposit money to the bank, that is also known as the principal amount. That means while initial amount, it's nothing but the initial amount while you are taking from the bank as a loan, and you are going to deposit your money in the bank, that is known as the principal amount. So hopefully you are able to, suppose here we have this concept, this picture are you can see easily over here. Suppose this one is bank A and you are going to take the an amount of like 10,000. This much amount you are borrowing from the bank. So this 10,000 will be considered as a principal amount. Clear to everyone? This 10,000 will be considered as a principal amount. But what will be the next? What is the interest? We are here going to study about the compound interest. That means compound interest, first we need to have a principal amount. And that 10,000 is the principal amount currently we are taking as a loan from the bank. That means we are borrowing this money 10,000 from the bank. Now definitely there will be one term and the question will arise from the bank. That means how much for how many days or how many years you want this loan. That is the time period is also important. So here time period is indicated, this principal amount indicated by capital letter P, and this 10,000 initially we are taking the example to calculate the interest. So initially 10,000 is what a principal amount. Come to the next part. Next is what that the second point is that number of year. For how many years you are going to take this money? You are borrowing money for how many years? It is indicated by capital letter T or capital letter N. It depends on it's up to you. You can take T also. You can take, that is T for time, or N for number of year. So this number of, for example, you are going to take this as a 2 years. This amount you are going to take for the 2 years. So 2 years, after 2 years, students, you are going to repay this amount to the bank. But what with that amount? What will the value of that amount? It means what, you are going to pay exact 10,000 after 2 years, or you are going to pay something less or more? Definitely you have to pay more, because you have borrowed 10,000, you cannot pay less than 10,000. So you have to pay equal to 10,000 or some amount more than 10,000. The amount, suppose you are going to take, you are going to repay loan after 2 years. Suppose you are going to take amount more than 10,000 plus something, and this take as 10,000, this was the principal amount. Suppose we are going to take after 2 years, we are going to pay like 10,200. This 10,200, what is the extra amount? Extra amount is what over here, that is 200. This 200 is known as the interest. So class, that is a very important part. What is the interest? That initially you are taking the amount, that is the principal amount, and you are going to repay this amount after 2 years. That is known as a time period is 2 years. But the amount more than 10,000, that is or 10 rupees, 50 rupees, 200, 200, 2000, whatever, but it should be more than 10,000, because 10,000 initially is what? Principal amount. And this 200 is what? Your extra amount. This extra amount is known as what? Interest rate. This extra amount is known as a interest part or interest rate. So that is a number of year also important. The first we need to have a principal amount, and our principal amount was 10,000, and the number of year, that is capital letter, is what? 2 years. So next class is that we need to find out the amount. So you are going to pay to the bank more than 10,000, and what is that? 10,200. So when we add principal plus the extra amount, that is known as the interest, which is equals to 10,000 plus 2,000, which is equals to 10,200. Okay, we are going to here over here 200, not a 2,000, it's a 200. So it will be what? So 10,000 plus 200, this will become a 10,200. So this much amount you are going, this one is indicated by capital letter A, that is the amount actually you are going to pay after 2 years. So hopefully you understood what is the interest. Interest is nothing but the amount charged by the bank at a certain rate or a certain condition, that is known as the interest. But students, every time you no need to pay like a 200, 300, 400 or 3,000, 4,000. Suppose you are going to borrow more than 1 lakh or 1,50,000 or 2 lakh. So what will that charge by the bank? It means class, bank every time will not say like you have to pay me 5,000, 10,000. There is a rate, certain condition decided by the bank. In that case, you have to pay the amount, whatever you have taken a loan, according to that you have to pay your interest. So let us consider that the next part is that suppose 200, now this time bank will not say that, suppose you are going to take 1 lakh from the bank. Now this time you are taking again 2 years. This 1 lakh will be your principal amount, and T will be your time or capital letter N, that is a time period. Now this time bank will say you have to pay the interest. Interest you have to pay at the rate of, the R is the rate of percent. Suppose it's a 3%. Now what is this new part? 3%. What is that 3%? That is the new for us or for you also. Till the time we have paid only 200. What is that 200? That is the extra amount. This extra amount is nothing but the certain rate. Means under some calculation, this of in 10,000 we are getting 200 by some calculation, because the interest, this rate, this 200 is decided by the bank, not by you as a borrower. The bank will decide how much amount you have to pay as an extra amount. It is their interest rate. That means you are using the bank money for the time period of 2 years, so that you have to pay some other charges after 2 years at certain rate. So certain rate, here I am writing that the interest. This interest now you have to in terms of the percentage. Now come to the next part. What is the percentage? So class, this percentage, what is that 3%? Let me introduce over here. 3% is what exactly? 3% is nothing but, that means you have to pay 3 rupees. You have to pay 3 rupees on 100 amount, means on 100 rupees. That is the interest rate. That is the rate decided by the bank. That means if you are going to pay 3 rupees on 100, how much you have to pay on 100 again? That means 3 rupees you are going to pay on 100. Or in some case, suppose you are going to pay 3 rupees on 100, how much you have to pay on 500? So how much amount will get getting over? 15 rupees. Is that clear? So this amount, this multiplication is very important to find out the percentage. Percentage is nothing but the amount out of 100. Here the amount is out of 100 is 3. That is 3 rupees on 100 rupees for after 2 years. That is the rate decided by the bank. Suppose rate decided by bank is 4%. So you have to 4 divided by 100 multiply by your principal amount. What is your principal amount? Suppose your principal amount is 10,000. Now you have to pay like a 400 as a interest. This one is the amount. Before that we had done as a 200. As 200 we have taken like this. That means money I have taken, but rate of interest we had not taken. So now we'll work based on rate of interest. Now hopefully you understood which concept we need to have. We need to have a first principal amount, then we need to have a number of year, then we need to have a rate of interest, then we'll find out the interest. Okay, so come to the next part, that is the rate of interest. I explained you the rate of interest. So let me take some examples more based on this. Suppose the rate of interest is what, 5%. So it means what, out of 100 rupees, that means that is the basic part decided by the bank out of 100 rupees. So on 100 rupees you have to pay 5 rupees for the 2 years. So on 10,000 you have to pay like a 50 rupees. Clear? So 5 rupees on 100. So what is the amount on 10,000? Suppose your principal amount 10,000. So it will be what? 500. So that you can able to calculate the rate of interest on principal amount. So 5% means what? 5 divided by 100 multiply by principal amount. So in general what we have to, let me take one more example. Suppose R is what? 7%. So what is that? 7 divided by 100 multiply by principal amount. Is that clear? Multiply by principal amount. So that you can find out the rate of interest, and or that is the rate of interest is decided by bank, and it is in terms of the percentage. So hope that you understood about the percentage, how to find out the percentage. Just percentage, even in terms of the decimal, you have to write the number as it is, but your denominator it will be what, 100. Then it is known as a percent. Percent, the word is also telling us that is the meaning of 100. Per means that division, cent means that is 100. That is the percent. If it is written 5%, it means 5 divided by 100. That is the part of the percentage. Hopefully everyone is getting. So this part was very important, and to find out the compound interest. So to in general, what we need to have a compound interest? In general we need to have a principal amount, the rate of interest, and the number of year. So these three things we need to multiply by, and then we'll get the interest rate paid by the borrower to the bank. For example, student, in general, let me take principal amount as a small amount like a 500, and the rate of interest is 2%, and the number of year is 2. Can you tell me the interest paid by the borrower? So interest will be equal to, I told you, the 2%, 2 out of 100, 2 out of 100, that is on 100 you have to pay 2 rupees, multiply by principal amount, the 200 out of 100, 2 rupees on 100, you have to pay on 500 how much? Then multiply by time also, because we are taking this for 2 years. So this will be what? 5 2s are 10 2s are 20 rupees you have to pay as an interest after 2 years. Hopefully you understood. Just multiply principal amount, the rate of interest, the number of years. You will get this one is your rate of interest, principal amount, and this one is the number of year. Hopefully everyone is getting it's R, and this one is your P, and this is the multiplication. So this the way you have to calculate the compound interest. But class, one more thing is that One more thing is that there is the two interest type. One is the compound interest, second one is the simple interest. So in general, what is the compound interest and what is the simple interest? Let us understand, then we'll go for the solving our questions. So the amount you are now, amount equals to principal amount plus interest. The amount, suppose your amount is what, 10,000 and your interest is like a 200. So the amount you are going to repay to the bank, that is a 10,000 and 200. This one is known as the actual amount paid by you to the bank. Clear? And it is indicated by capital letter A. Hopefully everyone understood. Clear? That much only. So in general, what is the interest? If I say what is the interest exactly, interest means what? The amount paid by you. Also you can write amount paid by you minus principal amount, that is A minus P. Interest will be equal to what? A minus P. You can write also. That means you know the amount paid by you and you have taken your means principal amount, you know that, and amount paid by you know that. So how much interest is what? Just higher amount. What is the higher amount? Obviously the amount paid by you repay to the bank, that is the higher amount because you are paying after 2 years, so including interest part. So higher amount minus smaller amount, that is the principal amount, and initially you have taken from the bank, you have borrowed from the bank. So higher amount minus principal amount, that is known as the interest rate. Hopefully everything is clear to everyone. Come to the next part, that is the compound interest. So compound interest, students, that we studied about over here. So this formula indicated by the interest, we need to find out the amount minus principal. What we have to do to find out the compound interest? Interest equal to amount minus principal. So students, one more explanation part is about this part, that is a simple interest and compound interest. So what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest? Let me show you over here. You can see the difference between simple and compound interest easily. So what I told you, you borrowed the money from the bank and you have to pay again money to the bank, but there is a particular time period. Suppose you are going to pay, obviously you are going to pay with money and you are going to pay with interest. That means your principal amount plus interest, then you are going to this make it amount you are going to pay to the bank. So P plus I is your amount paid by you to the bank. But simple interest and what's the compound interest? That's the very important topic. That's the very interesting part. What's the difference between simple and compound? So students, if I say you have taken loan from the bank or you borrowed some money from your friends or some other institution like 10,000. Initially we are taking this example, students, just an example. You try to understand because for your understanding I am taking the little bit example for the like a 10,500 like this. So 10,000 you are taking from the bank and after 1 year, let me consider as a 1 year only. Your time period, your N is equal to 1 year. After 1 year you are going to pay like amount, obviously this will be amount 10,200. Okay, this 200 is currently now it's a simple interest. Pay attention, it's a simple interest, that is simply you have to pay 200, like it is in a P into R into T. Just we had seen our formulas, P into N into R, that we had derived, multiplied all these three, you will get our simple interest. But what is the compound? Compound is the same formula I told you, P into R into T, but there is some difference, class. Compound interest is the interest paid by the borrower or paid by the institution to the other institution as a loan. So after more than 1 year, for example, let me take you, suppose you borrowed money from the bank like a 500 and you have to pay after 1 year. Suppose you are going to initially amount you are going to pay over here 520 rupees. Let me write down. Suppose initially you borrowed money from the bank like a 500 and after 1 year you are going to pay like a rate of interest. Suppose interest is what, 40 rupees. Now amount you have to pay 540. Yes or no? This one amount you have to pay to the bank. And what is the 40? 40 is the interest. 500 is the principal amount you borrowed or initially you taken loan, and this 540 you are going to pay, and it is for the first year. Clear? Suppose by the case some problem happens and you are not able to pay loan after 1 year, which was 540. Suppose you are not able to pay this loan after 1 year, which was 540 including the 1 year interest. So what should be the next? What will bank do with you? It means what? Now again bank will notify you. You have to pay this 540, this amount you have to pay initially after 1 year, but you are failing to pay 540. Now you have to pay the amount, the interest rate charged on 540. That means class, for second year this 540 will be the principal amount, that is the compound interest. Means what? Initially what is the principal amount is 500, but after 1 year you are not able to pay 540. Next year bank will consider as a 540 as a principal amount. That is the compound interest. You are going to pay more than, like suppose you are going to pay 600. Now totally you have to pay like 1140 after 2 years, this much amount. This is for the first year, and this amount you have to for the second year. That means what? This 540 will be the principal amount for the second year, not for the first year. In simple interest what happens? 500, this 10,000 is what? Fixed amount as a principal amount for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Only if you are not able to pay loan, pay after 1 year, again you have to pay the only interest charge on bank by on 10,000 only. But in compound interest you have to pay, your bank will consider as the next year. That means after 1 year, in second year bank will charge, including your principal amount plus interest rate, will consider as a whole principal amount in compound interest. That's the difference between simple and compound interest. Hopefully you are able to understand. So compound interest is 2 or more element. It is for 2 or more years, not for 1 year. For 1 year compound interest, simple interest is equal. For 1 year both interest are equal, simple interest equal to compound interest for 1 year. But for more than 1 year both will change, because next more than 1 year your principal amount change for the compound interest, in simple interest principal amount as it is. So understood? Hopefully you are able to understood the concept behind the simple interest and compound interest. Now come to the next part, that is how to solve the questions. In the school I have not taken any lecture class. There was a open day for the students, so no lecture was there. So I was thinking that let me take lecture online so that you can see this concept or study this concept at home. So it will be better for you. So next day when we will come, then we'll see the our offline part. So next part, that is for question number 1 is given that find the amount and compound interest. So students, let me find out the amount. Under the compound interest, how will calculate the amount? That is the major formula today we are going to do over here. So under the compound interest, the amount we are going to use over here, A equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100 whole raised to N. This N is what? Number of year. R is rate of interest. R divided by 100 is already given, that no need to write down. Okay. So P is your principal amount. A is the amount paid by you to the bank. That is, you are going to repay loan as A is your amount. Hopefully everyone is getting this part. So this one is the amount to find out under the compound interest. And what is the compound interest? If you subtract the principal amount from the actual amount paid by the borrowers to the bank, that will get the interest rate. Yes or no? That is will get the interest part. So let me take question number 1 only, and 2 and third one we have done already. Second one you have to do as a homework. So question number 1, it is given that Principal rate is given, this P is your principal rate, your rate of R equals to P and number of year N equals to 2. What we need to find out? Students, we need to find out over here amount, that is A, and compound interest, that is CI. Is that clear? Everyone understood? So we find out amount, formula is given that A equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100 whole raised to number of year, that is N. So P is given that, let me write directly this part. So formula, P is given that 2000, we'll write inside the bracket class. R is given that 5 divided by 100 and whole power to the 2. Now see, this calculation is very important because most of the students make error in the calculation part and they lose their marks in calculation only. They put their value properly, no doubt, but they lose their marks in calculation part. So students, basically calculation is based on which type of brackets are there. Now here you can see in one bracket there is a part 1 plus 5 divided by 100 and whole to the power 2. So try to make this bracket smaller and calculate the numbers inside the bracket. So inside the bracket what is there exactly? 1 plus 5 divided by 100. Put like this only. So you can cancel out this like 5 1 ja and 5 2 are 10, 1 0 is remain. So 1 plus 1 of divided by 20 also, and it is getting over 21 divided by 20. Nothing is there, assume and cross multiply. 21 ja 20 plus 1 1 ja 1 divided by 21 ja 20. 21 divided by 100. That is also way of calculation. And one more thing students, there is a second method is that 1 plus, now let me tell you one important part. This one is also part of this, and let me tell you, suppose any number 2 divided by 10, what should I write? 0.2. Is that clear? 2 divided by 10 is what? 0.2. And 2 divided by 100, what is that? 0.02. What is that? 0.02. 2 divided by 1000, what will be that? 0.002. This way you can also calculate the number if you have a denominator like the multiple of 10. If your denominator is a multiple of 10 like 100, 1000, 10,000, by using these decimal values you can calculate your bracket also. But still students, if you are getting something problem, so let me solve by using a simple way so that your calculation should be neat and clean and it should be correct. So let me write over here 5 divided by 1 plus 5 divided by 100. Let me calculate. So students, just cross multiply or make it smaller. 5 1 ja, 5 2 ja, so what is that? Okay, so this will be what? 20 plus 1 divided by 20. Is that clear? So it's a 20, it's a 1 only. So it will be what? 21 divided by 20 you are getting over here. So this bracket, this whole bracket is giving the answer is 21 divided by 20. So let me rewrite over here. So it will be 2000 multiply by, and it is 21 divided by 20, and keep your square as it is. Keep this square as it is. So this will be give 2000 multiply by 21 multiply by 20 class, again 21 multiply by 20. Why? Because power is 2 and both the power, both 21 also have a power and 20 is also power because this bracket include whole fraction. So it is become 20. So this become 21 ja 20, you have 100 over here. So 100 multiplied by 21 into 21 1 ja, this 20 will be as it is. So again we'll calculate over here, 25 are 100. So 5 multiplied by 21 multiplied by 21. So 441 multiplied by 5. I had given out this shortcut multiplication in standard in our class. 21 square, when we have to calculate this square rate, square part of the 21. So unit part is 1. You have to add 1 time 2, 4, and you have to multiply 2 with 2. 2 2s are, sorry, 2 2s are 4. So we are getting 441. So final answer will be 5 1 ja 5, 5 4 ja 20, carry forward 2, 5 4 ja 20, and 22. So 2205, this amount you have to pay to the bank. Clear? This one is the amount. So amount equals to what? 2205. So can you tell me the compound interest? What will the interest? You have a amount, you have a principal amount. Just tell me. Amount equals to what we have found over here, 2205. Principal amount is given by 2000. Can you tell me the interest? Yes. CI equal to A minus P. So CI equals to 2205 minus 2000, which is equals to 2205. This one is the compound interest and this one is your amount. It is asked in the question, find out amount and compound interest. So hopefully everyone has understood how to find out and how to calculate it. So let us solve some words problem. So students, one more important part is that the application, that is the formula for the compound interest. That means this formula is not always to calculate the only amount after 2 year, after 3 year, after 4 year. There is some more application of this compound interest formula. That means this formula, let me rewrite again. A equals to P into 1 plus R divided by 100, and it is the number of year. So that means what? It is not compulsory, students. Whatever we are taking, that is our principal amount. That is your principal part. You can assume that it is not only for the amount. So you can see over here, increase in population, also we can use this formula to find out the increase in population. Suppose initial population like this is what, 10,000, and after 2 years, and the rate of increasing this population is 1%. After 2 years, what will the population of the village? For example, like this, you can use this formula in such a way also. So say first thing this. Second thing is that if any article is sold after using it for some time and its value reduced as compared to the cost price, this reduction in price is called depreciation. What is that? That is a very important mark. You can mark it. This is a very important part. That means what? For example, the price of this suppose the price of this CD, you can see over here little bit in this market is what's wireless adapter CD. So price of this CD, for example, 50 rupees. But after 4 years, this price is not going to increase. Now price is going to decrease at the rate of suppose 2% or 3%. So what will do? Just write in comment box what will do. You are going to add this rate of interest or subtract the rate of interest, because see this rate, at what rate this price is reducing. Here price is falling. Suppose the price is 50 rupees. Now after 2 years the price is going to be reduced by 25 rupees. Now current, suppose this after 2 years the price will be 25 rupees. Now here it is going to decrease, but we know that the amount is more than principal amount. So in such case, what you have to do, you have to take this capital R as a minus R percent. What you have to take, you can mark it. This will become as a but only in terms of the depreciation. That means what? The cost price of the product is going to be decreased after 2 years. Is that clear? So in such a case, which formula you have to use in terms of the depreciation? Let me write over here. This formula will be A equals to P into 1 minus R divided by 100 and whole to the power n. Is that clear? 1 minus R divided by 100 whole to the power n, because in such case the cost price of a product is going to be decreased after 2 years. After 2 years, 3 years, depends on up to. Clear? So only in terms of the depreciation, when the words comes like a depreciation, then you have to use minus 1 formula. A equal to P into minus R divided by 100 whole to the power n. Is that clear? So this one, the application of the compound interest. The compound interest formula is used not only in the banking sector but also the calculate the population of a man, woman, child after 1 year, after 2 year, considering as a current population as the principal population, and after 2 years the population will be what? Like a amount, like your final population. Is that clear? And in terms of the depreciation, we have to use the minus sign, like a minus rate of interest. So let us solve some words problem based on this. For example, it is given that question number 2, a shepherd has a 200 sheep with him. Find the number of sheep with him after 3 years. Now see what is coming after 3 years. Obviously, so if increases 3 years, if the increasing number of sheep is what? 8% every year. So what is the 8%? Is the rate. That means on 100 every year 8 sheep are increasing. So that is a 8%. Can you tell me the principal part? That is the 200. Number of sheep, that is the 200. Principal P equals to number of sheep. And R is what? This was what? Increase in number of sheep. What is the 8%? Increase in number of sheep. And here something is the, and time. Time is given by like n equals to, that is a 3 years. Is that clear? So time is 3 years. So here we have to find out the find the number of sheep with him after 3 years. Number of sheep with him after 3 years. What will the exact part we have to find out? That means we have to find out the amount. Is that clear? That means after what will the amount after 2 year? What will the amount after 10 year? That is the after 10 year, the what will the population after 2 year? That is the part, amount part, that we need to calculate over here. So let us calculate. So we'll use this formula, A equal to P into 1 plus R divided by 100 whole to the power n. So P is given that over here 200, and that is the number of sheep. 1 plus R is what? 8%. 8 divided by 100 whole to the power 3, and it is given that the 3 years. So students, we can consider over here 200 plus, so let us make it small. 4 2s are 4, here will be 25. So always divide the numbers, make this number as small. I told you first calculate this part, 1 plus 8 divided by 100. Is that clear? So this will become, looks like 2 divided by 25, and we are getting over here 200, and cross multiply. You have 1 plus 2 divided by 25, cross multiply 25 plus 2 divided by 25. Again you are getting 27 divided by 25. Is that clear? So substitute this value. It's a 3. It's a 3. Okay. Substitute this value over here. So you will get the 27 divided by 25, the least value whole to the power 3. Now expand it. Okay. So it is the power 3. So 27 divided by 25 one time, 27 divided by 25 second time, 27 divided by 25 is third time. Now what will the calculation? Now this calculation looks like a something, student, something bigger. That means how we'll divide it. But there is a one more way to calculate. I told you. Let me write over here like just like a note part. Okay, so that you will get the calculation part easy. So what is that? We have 1 plus 8 divided by 100. I told you 8 divided by 100. The denominator part is 100. So we can convert this 8 in terms of the decimal. So it will be 1 plus 0.08. We have a 20. So before 2 decimal, before 2 digit, our decimal point will be there. So it will be 1.08. What is that? 1.08. So that means this will give this value 1.08 multiply by 1.08. This will also, and this will also will give 1.08, and all multiply with, you have to multiply by 200. So finally, after multiplication, students, in the such multiplication you can do it easily, no doubt. So this multiplication you have to do in such a way so that you can skip this higher multiplication, like a 27 divided by 25, then 27 divided by 25, 27 divided by 25. So 200 multiply once, you are getting over 252.934, something like this. But students, after this multiplication, this number of sheep cannot be in terms of the fraction. Yes or no? Sheep cannot be in terms of the fraction. They cannot be half sheep and full sheep. So here will be considered as a 253 is the complete number of sheep. Is that clear? So after 1 year, so after 3 years, the number of sheep will be what? 253. So students, this one is the lecture for based on the compound interest. So watch it. If you like this video, just comment, share and subscribe this channel for the more upgrade for the all coming chapters. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.